Remember, you are ultimately responsible for protecting yourself and for providing for yourself. Live your life with honor and integrity, and always be the wolf hunter. Don't be the sheep, nor the wolf. I subscribe to numerous channels and other websites that deal with emergency preparedness, and it always seems like that when the topic of communications and ham radios come up, that there are people that will always say, I'm not going to get my ham license because when SHTF happens, a license won't matter. Now that's probably true. If SHTF were to happen, law enforcement will probably not be out looking for people using hams without a license, so you may not have anything to worry about there. However, this is not smart thinking or planning and will lead to people probably having a very rude awakening when they unbox their ham radios for the very first time should SHTF happen. Ham radios are not simple turn on and use radios like walkie-talkies and CBs. A person is simply not just going to be able to take them out of the box and turn them on and start using them. Ham radios need to be programmed and practiced with. You need to find your local repeaters and program them into your radio, and you need to learn how to use it. Even if you do all this and only listen to your radio prior to SHTF, you need to see how well you are actually getting out and how well others can actually copy or hear what you're saying. When I first got my ham license, I didn't broadcast for the first couple of weeks, and I only listened to other people while I learned the proper etiquette for ham radio. Being that I use a radio for my full-time job, I knew up front that there would probably be proper etiquette that needed to be followed or risk being either politely corrected by others or just downright shunned. After taking a few weeks of monitoring to learn the proper etiquette, I finally keyed up to reach out to other ham users, and I was surprised to find out that while I could copy them loud and clear, they could barely hear me from all the static and distortion. Now, this was simply fixed by getting a better antenna than the one that came with the radio. But my point is that even if I learned how to program the repeaters into my radio and listen to learn the etiquette, I had no idea that while I could hear everybody else, that nobody could hardly hear what I was saying. And learning something, this important took me actually getting my license and learning and practicing with my ham radio. So save yourself from a possible catastrophic mistake and just get your ham license. They're either free or they have a very low cost of $10 or $20 to take. I don't remember. But I'll put a link down in the description box of how you can find a location to take the exam. You can also practice for the ham test, as it wasn't exactly the easiest test I've ever taken, especially for someone that's not very technical like I am. I found a couple of different websites where you can take the practice test, and I'll also post a link to one of the other sites also down in the description box. Also, you'll want to choose the technician option, as the general and extra are more advanced. So to recap, folks who buy a ham radio and not get their license and simply think that they will pull them out of their boxes if SHTF happens are possibly making a very catastrophic mistake, as ham radios are not simple take them out of the box and turn them on type of radios. Folks, we all know how important communications will be if SHTF happens, so take this seriously. Study and take the exam and then practice with the thing. You'll be glad that you did if SHTF does happen. Folks, I'd also like to give a quick shout out to HamAndShortwaveRadio on this channel. I redid this video because the quality of the first video was just so horrible, and when I first posted this video, he brought up a very valid point about how long the repeaters that ham radios use will probably not last very long should SHTF happen. This is being since the fuel and the electricity that it takes to keep them going will probably not last very long or be taken by the guys who run and maintain them. So if you are a lone ham radio user, you may want to ensure that you have the ability to keep your comms running using solar power or whatever, and also ensure that you make sure that you have the ability for your radios to really reach out and have some distance to them. or your radios just may become as useful as a paperweight if you leave yourself dependent on everybody else for your radio to keep working. But take a few minutes to check out his channel. He definitely knows a lot about ham radio, and I'll put a link to his channel in the description box. Anyways, folks, if you made it this far, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a good night.